There's a good reason why CD Projekt RED continues to be among the most heralded video game studios in the industry today. They are one of few game developers and publishers who actually seem to give a damn about doing right by consumers and ship their games at the highest level of quality and integrity without caveats. What you see is what you get with CD Projekt RED. You don't have to worry that they'll pull some stunt at the last minute because their track record speaks for itself. This is in large part why gamers are so ecstatic for Cyberpunk 2077. Not only does it look phenomenal, many seeing its potential to be the definitive interactive Cyberpunk experience, the studio is also promising that they'll take as much time as they need to ensure the game ships in the best state possible, while ensuring that they won't succumb to egregious anti-consumer practices. For example, anytime the topic of microtransactions is brought up, CD Projekt RED wastes no time in shutting down any potential rumors that Cyberpunk 2077 will be recurrently monetized in any way, assuring that players should expect nothing less than Witcher 3, so huge, single-player, open-world, story-driven RPG with no hidden catch and no bullshit. The studio took it a step further with their E3 2018 trailer, which featured a secret message that once again assured the game would not have microtransactions, while adding that there would be no DRM in the PC version, and that players should expect the same business model as Witcher 3, so a complete and comprehensive core game, free bite-sized DLCs, and larger-scale paid expansions. They also assured that players will be made privy to all important information regarding the game before opening up pre-orders, a practice that many other companies often neglect. Remember how Bethesda opened pre-orders for Fallout 76 before even confirming that it was an online game rather than a traditional Fallout entry? Yeah, that's just one of many examples. As if all that wasn't enough to garner all the goodwill they'll ever need, CD Projekt RED recently took to the official Cyberpunk Twitter page to address another concern that's been gaining traction as of late. If you've been following the news, then you'll know one aspect of PC gaming that's proven to be quite contentious is the introduction of the Epic Game Store. More specifically, PC players have grown more and more intolerant of Epic's pursuit to lock down third-party games exclusively on their platform. They did so with the PC version of The Division 2, and more recently they managed to secure the PC version of Metro Exodus as an Epic Store exclusive, which many of you will probably know all about by now. With all that going on, one user pleaded to the official Cyberpunk Twitter page to please not make the game an Epic Store exclusive like other major releases have been doing as of late. To that, the studio had one very simple answer to give. Yeah, pass on that. It honestly never crossed my mind that CD Projekt RED would ever cave to some kind of exclusivity deal with Epic, especially since the Polish company has their own digital PC game store, GOG, to worry about. Nonetheless, it's still good to get official word that Cyberpunk 2077 won't be locking itself down to any one launcher and that it will be distributed in a way that it can be played by as many players as possible in whatever platform they choose and most enjoy. As for those wondering how I know if CD Projekt RED won't resort to releasing Cyberpunk 2077 exclusively on GOG to bolster their own game store, well, as the studio said, expect nothing less than Witcher 3, a game that released on both GOG and Steam, as well as on all major consoles. That's not to say Cyberpunk 2077 won't release on Epic Game Store alongside Steam and GOG, but we now know for sure that the game won't just release on Epic exclusively, which is good news. Nothing good ever came from artificially limiting consumer choice with timed exclusivity on third-party titles to force them into using a platform if they wish to play a game, especially when that platform is, in its current state, an inferior one. It's one thing for first-party titles to be exclusive to a respective company's platform, like Nintendo releasing Mario and Zelda only on Nintendo consoles, Sony releasing Uncharted, Last of Us, and God of War only on PlayStation, Microsoft releasing games like Halo only on Xbox, Valve releasing Dota 2 and PC versions of Counter-Strike, Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead, and whatnot only on Steam, or Epic releasing the PC version of Fortnite only on the Epic Game Store. But it's a whole other thing to lock down third-party releases. When the Epic Game Store was first announced, people were actually excited that Steam is finally getting some competition, as that might potentially give Valve incentive to get off their asses and strive to bolster their digital PC games platform by addressing qualms and concerns that have been lingering for years now. Everyone was also excited about the fact that Epic would be giving developers a bigger and more fair revenue share from units of games sold, which may force Steam to react react and offer more generous revenue share themselves, which they did to an extent, though it's still far from ideal. But optics surrounding Epic's new digital PC game store quickly took a turn for the worse when it was discovered how many core features the launcher lacked compared to Steam, how questionable some of the language of Epic's privacy policy was, how sketchy the store's refund policy seemed, how the service lacked proper regional pricing to ensure everyone around the world was being charged evenly, and more. Now, some of that stuff has been resolved, with refund policies now being on par with Steam, with regional pricing having been implemented recently, and with concerns surrounding the language on Epic's privacy policy having been addressed by Tim Sweeney in a Reddit post. But Epic's store is still far behind Steam when it comes to key features, and it's got a long way to go. This chart right here does a good job in comparing the two services, and as you can see, there's just a whole lot missing on Epic's side of things. While I understand that it might take some time for Epic to catch up to Steam, until their service can actually stand toe-to-toe with the competition, they shouldn't be bottlenecking consumers in such a manner. Instead of restricting customers, they should be striving to offer better features, better services, and better models compared to the competition so that people will want to use Epic rather than feel like they have to. Many gamers feel that way, and that's why there was such a huge backlash against Metro Exodus when Deep Silver announced their exclusivity deal with Epic a mere 2.5 weeks before the game's launch, after months of having advertised the game for Steam and having sold copies of the game on Steam. Yes, it only takes a few minutes to download the Epic launcher and it won't kill a game just because it can only be played on the Epic store. But it's still ultimately detrimental and anti-consumer, and this is not a trend people want to reinforce or enable. So it's good to see that CD Projekt RED is being sympathetic towards this and that they are being open about assuring they have no plans to sign an Epic Game Store exclusivity deal with the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, something worth keeping in mind is that unlike many of the studios signing deals with Epic, CD Projekt RED is currently a self-sufficient company that probably doesn't need the cash infusion. As of September 2017, the company was reported to be worth north of $2 billion, sustained by the success of the Witcher franchise, as well as consistent revenue stream from GOG. Suffice to say that they're in no hurry to give away control over how they publish their products for cash, whereas other publishers and developers might actually need the cash infusion from an exclusivity contract to fund future projects. I can understand why indie developers in particular might be attracted by the 88% cut they'll be given from selling the game on Epic Game Store. I get why they might lean towards the additional money they'll get by signing away exclusivity. Now, in the case of Metro Exodus, I'm not sure what the financial state of THQ Nordic, Koch Media, and Deep Silver is like, so it's hard for me to say how pivotal it was for the future of the Metro series to make that deal with Epic. On the one hand, they may have had enough money to carry on, but they decided to make more money anyway because why the hell not? Or it could very well be that the extra money from the contract will go a long way in securing future Metro releases and other endeavors. But as far as CD Projekt RED is concerned, there is not a whole lot of incentive for them to sign a deal that may be more of a detriment, with the potential to garner backlash and taint their priceless good standing with the gaming community. Furthermore, CD Projekt RED has always carried itself nobly in the eyes of consumers. They've always been adamant about doing the right thing and sticking to their core values, and their track record, as I said before, speaks for itself. So I doubt that they'd be tempted to take the path of undesired timed exclusivity deals, even if they were made a damn good offer. So bless your heart, CD Projekt RED, keep doing what you're doing, keep holding on to those values so many others seem to be relinquishing, and I cannot wait to see what you accomplish with Cyberpunk 2077. These are one man's take on CD Projekt RED's latest tweet anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update and discussion video. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.